Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Software Bootstrap Development, where we talk about our experience from developing the software as a bootstrap company. And today we are going to talk about building, like bootstrapping technically complex products, which is kind of something we have experience with because we built Welder as well as one product called Happy Ship, which both were pretty technically complex, and it kind of challenged us in a certain stage of the product life cycle. And I believe it's cool to share this experience for anyone who is thinking about starting their own company, as like and maybe think about this variable when you think if you should stay bootstrapped, if you should do the product at all, or if you should maybe think about getting an investment. So, guys, what do you think about technically complex products for bootstrappers? Like, is it good to choose complex product?
Yeah, I never do that.
I don't think it's good or bad, but you should definitely be, you should really think about it. Like, is it the thing I'm going to do, like, doable if I have just one developer, or if it's just me, or if we have just, very small team? Like, or is it going to take us, years to accomplish? You really have to think about it.
Yeah, and also it depends like on the team what is actually considered like technically complex. If you have like more skilled developers, you'll probably your margin probably where you can go is like bigger. So this is also important.
Yeah, I think our problem,
Yeah,
and
because
like maybe even the reason why we started to think about this topic, is that when we started to work on Happy Ship, I think the problem wasn't that the product was technically complex, but the fact that we weren't, aware of that when we started. We thought like, okay, in 1 month we can have the MVP and everything will work, and we will, roll from that point. But it didn't happen. We actually found out the product was much more complex, and we had three like pretty senior developers working on the project, but it was just in our free time, so we actually never even made the MVP working.
yeah, it's true. That's a good point, actually. Like, it was not about that. The two products, Happy Ship and Welder, was too complex for us, but it was complex, and we didn't assess that before. And we were like, okay, we can do this in like 2 weekends. I believe that was the deadline. We wanted to hack this first product, which should help developers with shipping products, thanks to streamlining the CI/CD pipeline through Slack. So connecting GitHub, and maybe guys, you can correct me then to Slack, so you always know what's happening in your pipeline. And it was technically pretty challenging, and it actually stopped us from developing it because we got it to the point that we thought, okay, we can do this, we can bring this, we have a prototype, but it's really buggy, and it's hard to ship it. And we have right now two options. We will stick with the prototype and hope that we will find 1 or 5 companies which will be crazy enough to try this prototype, and then maybe we will iterate it, and after some time we can have some more polished product. But it would take kind of a lot of time to get this done. Or we take an investment which will help us, but the issue was like how we are going to make money, right? Because for 5 months, these or for 6 months, these 5 companies wouldn't pay us, like for the shitty product, for not working product almost at all. So how would we make money? So we would need to take a VC funding for that. And it was kind of hard and challenge points. Like, we needed at least some amount of cash income. And the second product that is kind of on the similar note is Welder. Like, again, we knew it will be complex, but we didn't expect it to be that complex. But I also believe this is because we first thought it will be native apps.
It doesn't really matter. Like in the end, it's always Chrome. But I think we underestimated the complexity, because we
Yeah.
are like,
But we
and actually like I think most of the times you will underestimate the complexity. if you think something
Yeah,
is
it's true.
going to be complex, like we thought about Welder, then it's most probably going to be super complex, and you will be crying, in the night, in your sleepless night, because you can't fix all the bugs and it's just falling apart.
And again, from the business perspective, it got us to the same point, kind of. Right now, we have a product that is working. We could call it MVP, but we have a lot of, like, not a lot of, but there are cases when something goes wrong. And for example, our B2B clients, this is something that is really painful for them. And we know it's the issue with all the tools right now that are doing the same thing as we do, like the recording locally and doing the live call, because it's, as you said, Mark, Chrome. But we know we have two options of solving this issue. First is fix it and like really make it
Yeah.
work, but that would take us like
Yeah,
6 months.
maybe it's good to like anticipate that when we are talking about like technical complexity here, we are not talking about like AI type complexity or some compression algorithm kind of thing, but
Mm.
we are mostly talking about like fixing hundreds and hundreds of edge cases, which is exactly the case we were having the problem in Happy Ship, where like basically if it works then it's not too complex, but there's just so many edge cases, and the same thing is with Welder. So we either,
Yeah.
as you said, like we either work for, I don't know, like half year or year, like full time, like 12 hours a day, and fix all the bugs, catch all the edge cases, or you can continue like the other option.
Yeah, the other option is to take a VC funding again and scale the development department and make more product teams that can solve these issues. But if you want to stay bootstrapped, this can be a challenge. And I think it's really important to, as you said, to think about it upfront, like as hard as you can. And we learned the hard way. And yesterday when I was talking and saying my story to this guy on a podcast, I I really realized that what we learned over the years is that you have to think like your projects that you want to realize through a lot, like a lot, like really the typical saying. It's like it's so common, the saying from Albert Einstein, like if I have 1 hour to solve a problem, I would spend 55 minutes on like understanding the problem and thinking about the problem, and then 5 minutes on solving it. And it's the same with products. And we always did the mistake that we jumped to the solution, to the building of the product, because we are builders. We love coding, developing, designing. But I see that the more time you spend on research of the target audience, the research of technologies, what you are going to use, how it will work, like when you are half year in, exactly how complex it's going to be on the technical side, uh, to get it to really a point where it can kind of make money, and to make all these assessments. It will help you a lot, and mainly when you are bootstrap business, because many of these things can be kind of hacked, I believe, by the VC funding, because you get the money to just
Yeah, you
continue
can throw
rolling.
money at the
Yeah.
problem and hopefully it will solve it. Yeah, but I think maybe
It will.
here, like with Welder, we are trying to go like a little bit out of the box, maybe, uh, because we don't have like enough time, or maybe we don't even enjoy doing that, to fix all the edge cases, do it for 12 months and then maybe the product will be good. But we want to maybe try another way and make the UX of the product like as good as possible, so everyone stays on the green path and we don't run into these edge cases, and hopefully this is going to work. So maybe like the
Yeah, that's a good
bootstrapping
point.
mindset is giving us maybe an advantage here. We will see.
That's something yesterday I said to the guy, exactly this. I was like, yeah, you can try to hack these problems with VC funding. You can throw the money at it and you hope it will be solved, but it won't. And actually, the bootstrapping way is pretty cool, because it will really force you to solve the problem in the most efficient way, because you don't have any other option.
Yeah.
Like, it will really force you. when you have cash, it's super easy to get distracted. Like, you are, okay, we have cash, we will hire so many developers that we will fix this problem because we believe that's the problem. Maybe it isn't. Maybe everything you need to do is to make the UX so easy to understand that the people, like the users, will go from 90% on the green path, and that will take you to another level, and you can say, okay, maybe we don't need to solve these issues. Like, we can save like millions of dollars not fixing these issues and really focusing on the core of the problem. Bye, Brady.
Looking for the
Brady's
phone.
looking for the phone.
So, yeah, this is the edge case we are talking about, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you use this edge case is beautiful because Brady uses his phone, and because it's Android on macOS, he's streaming it through OBS, so it works in Welder, and then these edge cases can happen. And you need to say to people that they should not do this if they are not technically
actually,
complex, and you are not technically.
this edge case will be working because like the camera is still online. I should still be recording. So
Perfect.
this should be fine.
Okay, you are technically complex. You are.
Yeah, I created the product, man. Trust me.
Yeah. So I think this is important topic. This is important thing to remember for Bootstrap developers. Bootstrap, like people who want to stay bootstrapped or are thinking about starting project. Really, the idiom, or is it said idiom? Is it called idiom?
I'm not sure.
I don't know what it means.
Sorry, fuck my life. Spend 55 problems on understanding
55 problems.
55
yes.
problems. Stay. I have a problem. All right, I will stop talking right now.
Yeah, like maybe
maybe
I would like to say another thing, and this is like maybe more technical and more like to the point. But I have read some article, like maybe a year ago, and it was from a guy who's like bootstrapping for like 3 years. He's making like different businesses, and he's like pretty successful. And it was like 15 things you shouldn't do when you are making a bootstrap business. And one of the things was like never do anything except the web apps. And
Yeah,
that's
that's a good point.
interesting because we have actually tried with Welder to go like with Electron, and yeah, I think it brought a lot of complexities and difficulties we wouldn't have if we stayed on the web. And basically, those are things you can totally afford when you have a bigger team. You are VC funded. That's like no problem with it. But when you are bootstrap, you have just 1-2 developers. I think it's always better to just stay on the web.
Yeah, this is. I think this is
challenge
advice
is
like mainly for like I think a little bit more like B2B focused businesses, which I think most bootstrap companies will be. But if you can like avoid, especially creating native mobile apps and stuff like that, you should definitely do that. This is the worst time sink basically you can enter into.
Yeah, unless you are just doing the mobile app, that's one thing, and this is something we are good at, go that way. But if you are in the position where we were, like we are having like one web app and Electron app, and it should run on macOS and Linux and Windows, and everything should work together. That's just too much. Or maybe you can go in the direction like after some time like when your company is growing, but you should never ever do something like that when you are just at the beginning.
Yeah, I will end this topic with one interesting thought, like a brain food for everyone who is listening and thinking about starting bootstrap software, bootstrap product company. It's like, because all of this, what we said, it's true, but that's what makes like creating products this way so difficult, because like you have almost zero IP when you do web apps. Like in technological terms, for example, it's hard to do some technological breakthrough in this way that will make your product in given vertical or field 10 times more efficient, more defensible, whatever, 10 times better in that field. And you are stuck with that because you don't have and you really, really, really have to understand the problem super well.
Yeah, I think
to solve
unless
it,
you are
like that's
like unless you are like like AI expert, or like as I said, like compression algorithm expert, uh, like really deeply focus on one thing, like a technical thing. Unless you are like that, your like core business when you are bootstrapping shouldn't be the technology. It should be something else. It should be something from the real world,
Which
and the
means
technology
you have
should
to
be
really,
just the tool to fix the problem.
yeah. Which means you really need to understand the problem, the topic, the field really well, and know the
Yeah,
problems really,
don't
really
think
well, and know
about
the people.
yourself as a coder, as someone who makes web
Yeah.
app, because
Which is, I think we struggle with that all the time. Like
yeah,
we struggle with that because we are coders, we are developers, we are good at this kind of, and we are not great at any given field. We don't know the problems of any given field, and that's why we tend to do technically complex products, and then we break our teeth on that, or like we get into the situation with Welder. But I'm really happy about how we find out to solve it out. But it's interesting, like just it's interesting. All
you can
right.
solve this by
And
committing and thinking long term. Another brain food.
yes. It's true. It's true. All right. So, any sum up, or did we already do the sum up? Takeaway. Pretty likes the takeaways. Pretty is good at takeaways.
Well, I'm actually not sure what this takeaway is.
Yeah,
I think I know.
I think the
Mark,
takeaway is to never underestimate the technical complexity of your ideas. Always, assess it's going to be more complex than you think, and always be aware of the fact that your development, capacity is very limited when you are bootstrapping, and you should really focus on the most important things, which are often not the things which are most technically complex.
yeah, I really like the saying: spend 55 minutes on a problem, like on understanding the problem, and 5 minutes on solving it.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
and you should especially do this
Five
when you are
problems.
bootstrapping and your resources are limited.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. If you found this interesting, we are doing these every week, so you can subscribe. Leave us a comment. That will be the best thing you can do because we will actually know that you are watching this and you find it interesting. You can even say in the comments what would you like to talk about, or you can even join us in these calls. We are doing it remotely, so if you are like, oh, I want to chat with these guys because they are from Eastern Europe, you can. All right.
Interesting
Bye,
reason.
everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye.